welcome to my channel. Well, I got in another Wurkkos FC13. This time it's with the XHP50B Emitter in 5000 to 5300 tint. Now I have this red cap on this one, it's magnetic. I stole it off the FC11. And this is not the cap it came with. It's also magnetic. That's the only difference. These tail caps that they come with are not magnetic, but you can swap out other stuff. I didn't do an unboxing on this because these are identical boxes, even though they have different emitters. The SFT40, this is not the right box for it. But other than that, they are different. They are different lights. Let me turn this light off. If you look at this emitter, you see how small that one is and how big this one is? This one also has a dome on it. The light output is different on these, and the tint is different. It's a noticeable visual difference. So before I go out there, because these will feel the same, and if you can see this here visually, but I mean in the dark you're not going to be able to tell the difference between this one and this one. I have this one with the displays going like yellow. Now this one over here is the first one. It's with the SFT40 in it in 6000k. You can look up here and tell the tint on them, but I mean just from visually looking at them you can't tell the difference other than that. Now let me put it in the lockout and I'll show you something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with lockout, that's the low, that's the moonlight on this one, you know, the low moonlight. And that's the low moonlight on this one. Now the difference is when you get them out of lockout, when this guy, I got them both in ramping. When this guy goes low, see, it's brighter than moonlight. And when this guy goes low, he's still a little bit brighter than moonlight too. I thought I had them about the same. But what you can see is the SFT40 is a lot closer to the SC12 in beam pattern. And this one is more of a flood. I'll show it on the wall and stuff, and I'm going to go outside, but you can kind of see this one holds more of a spot, and this one is more of a flood. So even though this guy puts out, this is not the right lumens for the SFT40, it's like 2000 something. Even though this puts out less lumens, it's going to have further throw than this one, just because of the beam pattern. Once again, this guy's more of a spot, and this guy's more of a flood. But yeah, you can see how small that, because that white part is just the, you know, the housing for the chip. And you see that little black dot right there? A lot of times that means like a diode is burnt out, or a part of it is burnt out. You can't really tell it when it's on. just interesting. All right, so I spent a lot of time just yammering about that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you there is a difference between the two. The XHP50 is going to be more of a flood, and this guy's going to be more of a spot. So next one comes up is going to be beam shots. All right, we're in an apartment. This is the FC13 with the 40 emitter on it in low mode. All right, that's the beam pattern you get on that one. Now we'll take the 50 and put it on. You can see it's more floody. That's that 50. This is the 40. All right. So now this is the 50. We'll step it up one. You can see it's just a central kind of, it has a spill to it, but it's more of a flood type of thing. We'll bump this guy up one. You can see it's more kind of a little spot. And this is a cooler white, so it's going to look a little different. We got one more. And then one more. In my left hand, I'm having the SFT40. In my right hand, I'm having an XHP50. We got one more. You can see it's more of a flood type of light. That one, you're starting to see that central spot there in the higher mode. You just kind of like, there's barely a spot that you can see. All right, now let's go turbo with this one. Wow, really lights up the area. And it's starting to get warm. You really notice it in turbo. All right, this one is going to go in turbo. Wow. Not quite getting as warm as fast, but it is heating up. And this is the FC12 on low, medium, high. So you can see a much more defined central spot and flood. I mean, more spill with it too. All right, try to do both at once here. That's the 40, and this is the 50, the moonlight. Step up one. Left is the 40, right is the 50. You can see a wider, kind of oblong. Oops. Up one, up one. Two. Turbo, turbo. Yeah, the 40 is getting much warmer. All right. All right, that's the FC13. And this is the 12, FC12 on my right hand. Low, medium, high. Turbo, turbo. So you can see a more centralized spot. The FC13 in turbo is getting a lot warmer, a lot harder than the 12 in turbo. This one's getting hot to the touch. Now I set the temperature on this one to go up to 55C before ramping down. This one is no Andrew. Yeah, this one's getting warm. Hot to the touch in turbo. So keep that in mind on these turbo mode ones. Alright, I already had one screw up. Let's do this over. Alright, ambient temperature, 89 degrees Fahrenheit or 31C. Alright, let's go to turbo, start. Five seconds. 34C or 93, starting to warm up quick. 12 seconds. 80, that's 100, 102, or 39. 105, oh, it's getting hot up here. 31. Depends on how you read this thing. It doesn't read the highest one. 43. 116. Ah, it's getting warm. Hot. Woo! Coming up to 1 minute. 111. Yeah, it's getting warm down here too. This is hot to the touch. 120. I saw 120 there. 129, 132, 55C. That's what I have it set to ramp down at. So it shouldn't get much more over that. 57. Ooh. Yeah, that's hot. 1 minute 30. I don't have a lumen tube to check the output, but oh man. Yeah, I'm going to change that down. 131. I'm not going to have it go to 55C. I don't like it getting that hot. 134. 120. It's keeping it about there, but 134 degrees is pretty hot up here. You can still hold it down here, but it's warm. I mean, it's warm. Like, see, like 109 down here, or 44, see, up here. We're at 2 minutes, 20 seconds. I don't see the light output stepping down, so it's doing a pretty good job of maintaining that. I'm not going to let it go much longer. I just wanted to get the maximum output. We'll just go with 3 minutes. 55C, 56. Yeah, I'm going to knock this thing down a little bit because I'm not going to use it on turbo for that long. See, 115 down here even. 133. All right. We'll stop you. We'll stop you. Yeah, this guy gets warm, and it stays warm. It stays warm for a while. Now we'll do the same test with this guy, and I bet it won't get as hot as quickly. Yeah, it's keeping that temperature. It's cooling down a little bit now. Yeah, 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty damn toasty, man. If you leave your hands up here for long, you could burn. Yeah, you could get burned. So it's a question of what do you need? You know, do you need a high output for a long time? Well, you're going to have to put up with more heat if you set the temperature up. It's factory regulated, I believe, at 45C. So you shouldn't have to configure the temperature regulation unless you really, it's even warm down here, unless you really want to, it's keeping that heat for a while. 106. Ambient temperature here is like 80 something. Yeah, it transfers it down to the whole, and here's your battery here too. So you're not only heating up the emitter, but you're heating up the battery. And heat is not good for electronics. I mean, that's why they have the temperature regulator on it, is because you don't want to get a lithium battery too hot for sure. And emitters are not good to get too hot. So that's an interesting test. Now, this comes closest to simulating the beam pattern of the FC12. The only difference is, you know, they use the same emitter. The only difference is that this is a more parabolic, smooth reflector, so you're going to get a rounder, circular beam. And I'll test this one later because I'm running, you know, it's going to be like a series or something, a thermal test. But I don't think this one gets near as hot as this one does, but it might just be the emitter. This one may get as hot also. So anyways, we'll let that one cool off, chill out now. Let's see, it's still warm. So yeah. Yeah, I learned something on that test right there. I don't need it to run it. If I'm going to change it, I'm going to jump it up to 50. I'm going to have the thermal regulation kick in at 50. And that way, the light output will dim when it reaches 50 degrees centigrade on this one. But it won't get as hot. I mean, it'll still get hot, but it won't get as hot. So anyway, yeah, there you go. See? Science. That's what we get with science. If you don't know the answer, it's good to say, I don't know. Instead of, I've got all the answers. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's test it. Is it repeatable? Yeah. That's called science. Ted Nye, the science dino guy.